The single most profitable product I've ever sold on Amazon is something nobody would pick on purpose. It's boring, it's heavy, it's the kind of thing people just scroll right by looking for the next exciting gadget. And that's exactly why it makes the most money. It was a pet food product, bringing us anywhere from 35 to 40% net margins. People always get this completely backwards. They go hunting for the hot product, the trending thing, the one everyone's talking about. And then they wonder why 5 other sellers are already on the listing fighting them to the bottom of the price. The products that actually print are the complete opposite. They're the ones with a built-in reason nobody else wants to touch them. A fee that most sellers never check. A gate that they cannot get through. A size that no one wants to ship. A reorder they do not even see coming. I'm gonna walk you through the product types most sellers have never even heard of. Starting with the one that surprised me the most. And the product last is not even a product, it's actually a strategy. It's the position that beats every product on this list. Let's get into it. Section 1, the boring, heavy product no one wants to ship. So the thing about big, heavy products is everyone gets so scared of them because Amazon fees go completely through the roof if you're using FBA, filled by Amazon or Amazon Prime, when you're shipping large, heavy products. So most people completely avoid them and go for the light, cheap things because it keeps the fees low. But here's the thing that they completely miss. You see, the product that we made a killing on was a pet food product. We would sell the 15-pound bag for about $65, the 30-pound bag for about $97, and we were making 35 to 40% net margins. But here's the thing, we weren't using FBA or Amazon Prime. It was a cheat code. What we were doing was actually working directly with UPS and negotiating their shipment fees. So instead of the typical way of sending products in from your prep center or brand directly into Amazon for them to ship it to the customer, what we were doing was something called FBM, fulfilled by merchant. It's not a model I usually go for, but in this case, the money made too much sense. But here's where people screw it up. They don't negotiate. They go with the price that they see on Amazon for shipping and they just take it as it is. But when we called UPS and said, hey, dude, this is exactly how many units we're gonna be shipping each and every week and every month, we're gonna need a better rate to stay with you instead of going to another service provider. They were more than ecstatic to actually negotiate those deals and made us a ton of money. The key here, don't follow what everyone else is doing, right? The money is always where less people are going. The other thing to keep in mind is, for the most part, our catalog consists of products that sell for like $30 to maybe $35. This was way above the retail price we usually sell it, and that's what allowed us to soak in that heavy fee for shipping. So the key thing here is heavy products work, but they gotta be selling for a lot of money. Section 2, the category with the low referral fee that most sellers skip past. You see, Amazon charges 2 different fees. One is gonna be a referral fee just for using their platform. This is generally 15%, but there's a way around that I'm gonna tell you in a second. The other fee is if you're using FBA, Amazon Prime, they charge a fulfillment fee, which is the cost for them to ship it to the customer for you. Now, the referral fee is where most people don't pay attention to, because if you actually look at the data, depending on what category you sell in and what your pricing is, you can actually reduce that referral fee. I actually ran into this by accident, so I'm not acting like a genius. I actually made the same mistake. It was one day I was selling this beauty product, and we had it listed at $12, and it was making us about 15% net margin, not bad. But for whatever reason, we just tested, we were playing around with numbers and dropped the price down to $9.95 or something, just to undercut the market, which you shouldn't do, but everyone makes mistakes. So we undercut the market, and all we saw was our profits skyrocket from 15% to like 28% net margin. I'm like, what the hell happened? So I looked at it and I was like, oh snap, I didn't even realize that the fee under $10 for beauty and things like health and household, which includes things like supplements, detergent, toothpaste, etc., the fee actually drops down to 8% in that case. So we were paying all of this less money and it was going right back into our pockets. The key component here, right, is whenever you're selling mainly in categories like beauty, health and household, you always want to make sure you're checking the referral fee. Now, Amazon always has the ability to change this, so the easiest way is just keep on top of it in terms of looking at their website to see if they ever change the referral fee for any category, especially when they give you the opportunity to reduce it, because that's when you can make a ton of money. Because guess what? That extra percentage is straight profit in your pocket, changing nothing else in your business. So we got to keep our eye on a swivel to make that extra money. 2 identical looking products in 2 different categories can have completely different take-home profit. And the difference is a number you can look up before you even spend a single dollar on inventory. So the key here, always check the category referral fee before you even commit to an order to know your net profit, and always guide your decision to where Amazon's taking the least amount from you. Here's where people get it wrong. They fall in love with a product. They see that it's something they buy and invest all of their money into it. Absolutely not. We always follow the numbers. Now, section 3, the gated category that locks your competition out. You see, people always scared of this word ungating and gating on Amazon, but let me break it down for you as simple as humanly possible. We all know it does $1.7 million per day, 200 million Amazon Prime buyers, 300 million active buyers every single day on the platform. They need to protect themselves, right? As a business of that size. And how they do that is for all new sellers, they have this process called ungate. And how it works is before they allow you to sell a single product, for most brands, they need you to prove the authenticity of your product. And this is where most sellers get so scared. So here's how you understand this. All you need to do is have an invoice that proves that your product is authentic, and you give it to Amazon and they will approve you in 1 to 2 days. Sounds pretty easy, right? But there's another layer to it where a lot of new sellers mess up. You see, I'll use an example on one of my students, Naomi and Amir. When we first started work with them, they hit like $52,000 their first month, and they were aggressively going for really big brands. They even ended up closing a deal with a brand that does $28 million a month on Amazon. Not for the whole catalog, but one product. And I remember getting on the call with them because they asked me to assist them. And rep at the brand said this: man, a year ago, we would have never taken this call with you guys, to be real, but we do need help. So this is why we're entertaining this. We ended up closing the deal, but here's the key lesson. That brand is a supplement brand. And what was happening on Amazon, unfortunately, was there were bad actors that were buying fake bottles, fake logos, filling the capsules with fake white powder and selling it to the consumer. How big of a risk is that? To not just the consumer and the brand, but Amazon as well. And now, are they willing to risk their $1.7 billion per day business on bad actors? Absolutely not. So that's why they put this ungating process in place in the first place. So the key difference here is models like retail or online arbitrage, or buying products from Alibaba, or buying products from Target, Walmart, Dollar Tree, and all these random places and trying to sell it back on Amazon. Those models are just dead. They don't work anymore. Or you see people making money here and there, but it's an uphill battle the entire way. Not only don't you have consistency because you're always looking for the next product to flip, it is extremely hard for new sellers to get approved with these receipts and invoices that aren't from the brand. The key component here, it's a good thing when products are gated because it keeps the competition out, and that's where the money is, right? So when you see products like grocery brands and all these things that you can just go and sell, man, there's gonna be so much competition. You're gonna make the least amount of money. But when you get approved to sell a brand, that means that gate has kept out so many bad actors and other sellers that's where the money is. But here's the key takeaway for this. Always purchase from the brand. When you buy from the brand, Amazon can guarantee that your inventory is legitimate. Once they trust you, you can do all the other ways out there, but always start with the brand. You got it. Ones like grocery and video games, toys and games, those tend to be a little easier. So you see a lot of new weird sellers selling in there and just bringing down the price. So remember, the gate is your friend. Before the next ones, the part people always ask me about, know these products is one thing. Actually sourcing them, getting ungated, running the listings, so the profit margin is real. The whole system. We teach that step by step inside our Amazon FBA workshop. If you would rather not piece this all together on your own, and if you want the proven path from people running it right, use the link in the description to grab your completely free spot. Then come back because the next product type is the one that pays you again and again without you having to find a single new customer. Section 4, the consumable people reorder without you even have to lift a finger. You see, a big issue with a lot of new sellers is they only think about the next flip. Myself included when I got started. I was selling things that were on monthly promo lists, things that I couldn't get again and again. Things like that I would sell in the winter, in the summer, for Hanukkah, Christmas, stuff like that. Think about it like baseball. When you see a product and you're always looking for that home run at 50, 70, 80% net margin, it looks so good, but can you get it consistently? Is it gonna pay you for this month or is it gonna pay you for a year to come? And once I understand this concept, I stopped going for the home runs and started just going for the base hits. The small winners that brought in 15 to 20% net margin, right? 30% ROI, which is still a lot. And it would bring in consistently that month after month after month after month. So here's the thing, don't look for the quick wins. Look for the longevity in the game. Here's why. The quiet winners sell something that people run out of, so the same customer comes back on their own. You did the work once and you win them forever with the reorders. One of my first big wins with this was a Korean skincare beauty serum. Like, this was back in 2020 and it paid me for literally 3 years to come. Now, it wasn't a knockout by any means, right? It was only making me about 17% net margin, but that money was coming in every 6 weeks. So it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. But the thing about it is things like beauty, things like pet food, things like health and household, like supplements, stuff like like that, things like toothpaste, detergent, things that people reorder consistently, they are in complete alignment with the marketplace growth. Please understand this. Amazon is growing by 11 to 12% each and every year. So when you have repeat customers, plus the marketplace is growing, guess what? So does your income, because there are more people buying on the platform. So always think from this perspective. What is going to be a consistent stream of income for years to come in my business? As long as you operate like that, you will outprofit everyone else in the game who's only looking for the next hit that's going to make them money in 30 days. Section 5, the oversized or odd size product that big sellers skip out on. You see, a lot of sellers only want to sell the things that look nice and neat and clean because it's easier for either themselves or their prep center to handle. And a lot of times the big, oversized, weird shaped products, they have more fees. But here's the thing, it goes back to number one. Wherever most people are going, go the complete opposite way. I use an example of a product that we've literally been selling since 2021, and it pays us anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 in net profit per month. This is a grocery brand, and they had no presence on Amazon when we first met them, but they did do $50 million per year outside of Amazon. We were able to close a deal with them, get in business, and sell their products. A lot of people had avoided work with them. Not only did they not have a big presence on Amazon, so there wasn't a lot of data, but the other thing is that it's a grocery brand. It's actually like a pasta sauce mainly brand. Now they have a lot of SKUs, but all of them tend to be glass. People love to avoid glass products, big 6-packs, 3-packs, because guess what? They're harder to manage because you got to bubble wrap them. You got to do all these extra layers and they tend to break. So it can honestly give you negative feedback on Amazon if you don't do this one thing. But here's the thing, because so many people were avoiding them, we were able to close the deal as one of our first exclusive deals, which I'll break down in a second. But it was able to bring us in $20,000 in net profit per month when no one else was willing to take that. Now, it did feel like a lot of extra work at the time to us, but for $20,000 per month in net profit, was the extra 1 to 2 hours of prep worth it? Absolutely. I'll use an example of the 6-pack tomato sauce. What would happen is we would bubble wrap that whole box, and your prep center can do this, and we would send it into Amazon. Now, Amazon will send it to the customer. Here's what people don't realize. When you're using Amazon Prime or Amazon FBA, and Amazon ships to the customer, they take full accountability. So there were some times where these boxes would actually crack because there was 6 bottles getting shipped together. But guess what? If a consumer left a negative review, if they needed a refund, any of that, who was it covered by? Amazon, not us. The important thing here is to understand when you are using Amazon's full suite of services and having them shipped to the consumer, you are fully insured and covered all the way through. They will remove negative reviews if it's their fault. They will give you your money if something breaks or gets misplaced. You will get paid no matter freaking what. So many people avoid this, but this is where the money is, getting paid no matter what. Section 6, the strategy that beats every product, becoming a brand's solo operator. Now, I'm gonna use the example from last, but let me break this down. You see, what happens when you work directly with brands, you have a lot of leverage, especially if you're working with smaller brands. We looked at brands that do under $3 million a month. As a new seller, you might go smaller, like under $1 million, but here's the key component. I'll tell a story that happened back in 2023. It was a brand we were working with, and we flew over to Chicago to meet them and a host of other brands. We were able to have a face-to-face talk and close that deal right on the spot. One of the products that we were buying from them, we would buy it at a very low price, $19, and sell it back at a very high price, $39. And we would make about 41% ROI on our products. What the brand was doing was actually paying people on TikTok and Facebook to actually create videos for this product. And they would have an army of about like 10,000 people making 30 videos each per month. So the brand was growing at a rapid rate. So what we did is obviously we made more money on Amazon because when sellers buy off of Amazon to start, they always return back to the big dog. This is called a halo effect. So the money just floods right back to us. But on the other side of that is as the brand grew, we were one of like 5 sellers on the brand. And what we did is we helped them on their Amazon presence. We would improve their keywords, their listings, everything. So when that happened, we stopped looking like one of 5 and we started looking like one of 1 because of all the value we were able to provide to them. So as the brand grew, we no longer wanted to be one of 5 and we pitched them something called the exclusive deal. We told them that it would be a lot easier to work with 1 person instead of 5. And if they can work with 1 person and consistently, what that allowed us to do is take up 100% of their Amazon revenue. When you tie in the fact that the brand is growing because they're marketing on other channels, what happens is our money's growing from all corners. This is why it is so powerful working with smaller brands and really positioning yourself as a solution. If you can do that, you become the answer to their problems and you can go in and become an exclusive operator. And this is why it doesn't take that many brand deals to really change your income. To this day, this brand brings us in over $300,000 $100 per month from one single relationship. In addition, Amazon is completely pushing towards this. Amazon wants real brand trust on the platform, which means it keeps rewarding products sold directly by the brand or their authorized operator. Picking products is the old game. Becoming an operator is where the platform is actually heading. This cuts out all the middlemen and makes you the sole breadwinner for this brand. Look, run back through all 6, and the pattern is what you want to learn from this. The products that print on Amazon are not the exciting ones everyone's chasing. They're the boring, heavy, gated, awkward, reorderable ones with a built-in reason that your competition stays away. And the best position of all is not the product at all. It's becoming the one-of-one operator a brand works with directly, where the competition is gone by design. Now, the obvious next question is, man, how are you actually gonna find your first one and get it sourced without betting everything to do it? I break that down step by step in this next video. Let's go watch that one now.